hitting the latest NFL rumors on today's show. That includes the weird Christian Wilkins saga, I'll call it. Noah Fant updates, Trey Hendrickson, and Adam Schefter sounding off on Micah Parsons. Before we dive into that, be honest with me. Are you going to watch the NFL Hall of Fame game? I'm a sicko and an addict, so I certainly will be. Let me know if you are. Y for yes, N for no, and maybe we'll have a little watch party for you here on Chat Sports too. Let's dive into the latest on Christian Wilkins. He's unsigned, potentially for a while, after the very surprising release from the Las Vegas Raiders with predominantly the footage issue. But there's been a lot of questions and reports and buzz and just general stuff, weirdness even, going on out there around Christian Wilkins and the Las Vegas Raiders and what happens next. The foot issue is obviously a huge part of this, where he wasn't healthy. The Raiders wanted surgery. He said no. They filed a grievance to void the guarantees, but they didn't cut him immediately. The Raiders voided the guarantees and then cut him a couple days ago. Adam Schefter, reporting on this alleged Christian Wilkins incident, says, when you speak to people there inside the locker room, they say that Christian playfully went to kiss teammate on top of his head, and some of those same people said that player took offense to it. That's what everyone's been dancing around and tap dancing around. An incident in the locker room where he allegedly playfully kissed a teammate on the top of his head. That teammate felt offended by it. Schefter also said that player filed a complaint to HR, which doesn't ever happen from NFL players. That's not really a thing that goes on in the vast majority of cases. But Mike Florio says that is not the story that's been making the rounds, and it kind of sounds like nobody is willing to put their name behind the report of what that is because, well, our good friend Mitchell Renz over on the Raiders Report talked to a source who told him that the report was it's tough to believe. It's an impossible thing to go public with. I don't know if it's true. The threat of a lawsuit is involved in the incident, and when you said the reporter's afraid of the reporting, part of that is the potential legal allegations. So now we're at this point. This is not over. Whatever is going on, we don't know the full story. I don't know if we're ever going to know the full story, frankly. Clearly, stuff has happened with Christian Wilkins. This is the same guy who, go back to his college days, he's always been a little bbit unnecessarily grabby in the pile. I think we all know what I'm referring to. There's just a lot of and then Adam Butler came out and said, hope, if you're ever going through stuff, get some help. And it's was that about Wilkins? Was that about a team? What's actually going on here? Clearly there's one element of the injury, and there's this other stuff of, did the incident actually happen, or was that what it actually was, and then it kind of deteriorated into something else, or is there a second thing? It's just a lot of unknown weirdness around this whole situation. Now, with that said, there's a great line, an old scouting adage of, if Hannibal Lecter could run a 4.4, they would call it an eating disorder. So, with that in mind, who ends up signing Christian Wilkins? If anyone, no one is a certainly valid answer to. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Some early betting odds on the next team for Christian Wilkins. The Patriots at plus 400. I think they've been mentioned in some reports there. The Lions, who may or may not be a Dan Campbell guy there. Arizona with Walter Nolan banged up, might miss some of the season. A return to Miami at plus 700. They did draft Kenneth Grant, add some extra defensive linemen. The Niners at plus 800. Chargers, Cowboys, Jets, Packers, Chiefs. They're all kind of distant long shots there with, I think, a lot of just uncertainty on what happens here. At his best on the field, Christian Wilkins is awesome. This is a great run stopper who took a step forward in pass rush ability in 2023, was on pace for a very good season before it all kind of went awry. Not quite times 4, not quite times 3, a little bit more than that, but you can essentially triple those numbers at minimum, maybe 3.5x, and 2 sacks in 5 games adds up to a pretty good figure. 2 TFLs in 5 games, not quite as good, but still ends up being pretty solid. He was a tackling machine at Miami. He's a great run stopper. But there's also the question of, is he healthy? That kind of all got put on the back burner with the other reporting going on around Christian Wilkins. When is he going to be able to play? Is he going to be able to play? How healthy will he be? Does he need that second surgery? I think you will have teams, much like the Raiders, who don't clear him to return to activity without a surgery. That might limit his field. That's going to limit the contract. So The Christian Wilkins saga, I suspect, is only just getting going for the NFL. Today's show is made possible by Ethos. As a father of one with a second kid on the way, trust me when I say life insurance matters. It's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened to you, but you need to be prepared. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote today at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry, and it's more affordable than you might think. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. There is no complicated process, and it's 100% online. No medical exam is required. You just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. Appreciate Ethos sponsoring us here on NFL Daily. Let's go to Noah Fant. Since his release by the Seahawks, he has been on a free agency tour of sorts. The Bengals, he visited with them. The Saints, he visited with them. The Dolphins, he visited. All three have pros and cons. Bengals are a fun offense, but they paid Mike Gesicki already. He was very good. The Saints, we'll see what the overall outlook for that offense looks like under Kellen Moore. They have Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau, but they're both banged up. Same with Taysom Hill. Miami did make the surprise trade for Darren Waller that I don't think anyone really saw coming, but he's also banged up. And if you don't trust him, it's Pharaoh Brown and Julian Hill and Tanner Conner. Miami's a really intriguing fit, actually, for a guy that hasn't been bad in his career, but he's never quite had the leap. Like I've kind of, especially after that 2021 campaign, he had 670 yards. That was good. He was coming off back-to-back 670-plus yard campaigns. It's like he's going to start going for like 700, 800, 900 yards. And he did that, but in 2 years combined. And the Seahawks made the move to go get Elijah Arroyo. That role was repetitive. And it ends up kind of getting himself released before camps get going. And now he's kind of trying to find the right destination. So who will end up signing Noah Fant? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Get those predictions in right now. Trey Hendrickson, let's check in on him. That saga continues to drag on after it seemed like the two sides were getting closer. There was that optimism for a day of, hey, this deal might get done real soon. And then I think we now know why there was optimism and why it hasn't gotten done. Guaranteed money, a.k.a. the stuff that matters most, is the crux of the issue here between the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson, where it's, Adam Schefter is currently reporting that the deal is mostly in place. The Bengals don't want to offer more guaranteed money, go left, on what is a likely 3-year deal for him. Like, that's the crux of the issue, that they don't like giving away big guaranteed money. They did it for Jamar Chase. They did it for Joe Burrow. But they don't want to do it for Hendrickson, which, I don't know. When you lead the league in sacks, like, it's reasonable to expect you're going to get paid like the top of the market, or at least top 10 of the market. That's an issue. And the Bengals have waited so long that the market's gone up because that's how the market always goes. Here's what Schefter said, like what the difference is between the contracts here. It depends on who you're asking, but I would say anywhere between 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million. Let's put it this way. Multiple millions apart in guaranteed money. Got to be frustrating for Bengals fans to okay, you finally got through the Shamar Stewart saga, but you're still dealing with the Trey Hendrickson one, who was coming off 17.5 sacks. The Bengals defense was not nearly good enough last year. You have legitimate Super Bowl aspirations, and you're haggling over guaranteed money for your best player on defense and probably your third best player overall, if worst case, fourth best player with T. Higgins in that conversation. That's got to be frustrating. Right? Now, if you have not already subscribed, help us out. We got to the 413K mark. You guys are awesome. 414K is next up. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out on anything here on Chat Sports. Let's go to what Adam Schefter had to say on the Micah Parsons side. A significant but potentially troubling for Cowboys fans out there. Maybe good news for Eagles fans. Contract talks between Micah Parsons and the Cowboys. We'll break that down. But who gets paid first? I still think both guys get paid. It's just been a saga for both. Of the two, who gets paid first? Or maybe who only gets paid? MP for Micah Parsons, TH for Trey Hendrickson. Schefter's saying this, lengthy quote, bear with me, I'll kind of sum it up here. I would say right now we're nowhere on that deal. I would say right now we are further away from a deal in late July, early August than we were in late March, early April. The two sides have gone backwards, not forwards. I don't think they're speaking very much these days, if at all. There was communication in late March, early April when Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons were sitting down and making progress, tracking towards that deal getting done. But the negotiation, when it was a negotiation, has gone sideways. It's not one right now. There's no conversation about getting a deal done. That could change next week. Could change before the season. We've seen how long Dallas sometimes waits on some of these deals. CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott last year. This sounds different to me. Sounds a little bit more personal from both sides. Sounds like Dallas is upset with the fact that he felt like it was going to get closer to a deal, and then that deal went sideways. I think Micah feels like the deal should have been done already. I don't think Micah's happy with them. I don't think they're happy with him. I don't think anybody's happy with anybody. I don't think there's a deal that's being discussed right now, not to mention being close. What's happening here behind the scenes is the Cowboys side is blaming Micah for no deal. Of Stephen Jones, somehow he's got to want to get paid, which makes sense because he's holding in. And Micah's side saying, my agent called you. What are we doing here? So they're kind of pointing the finger at each other for who's to blame for the delay. I think the Cowboys side of it, I think they're mad because the Cowboys and the Jones boys, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and Micah, had the private secret meeting in that March-April timeframe. And then the agent got involved, which the agent was always going to get involved. It was naive to think otherwise. Mike is disappointed because he thought they were super close. They didn't call the agent like he asked them to, and now the progress has stopped. And he's like, well, we were so close, and now other guys got paid, so my market went up. What are we doing here? And there's frustration. But I've seen this exact contract stuff, but I actually disagree with Schefter. This does not feel different to me at all. This feels the same. This feels like the CeeDee Lamb contract. This feels like the Ezekiel Elliott contract. There's been so many times the Cowboys did it at the last second and then just gave the player everything that they wanted. Until that isn't the case, I'm going to assume it happens the exact same way it's happened in previous years.